In today's video, I will be installing the FITCAMX dash cam into my 2023 Ford Explorer. Not only does this dash cam offer 4K resolution, easy plug and play install, but what makes this dash cam stand out from all the others is the factory OEM look. FITCAMX also offers a rear camera option, which I will also go over in this video. Let's take a look inside the box and see what's all included. Everything comes nicely packaged and labeled. You have your dash cam, accessories, a product support card, so if you have any issues, you can email FITCAMX, and a user manual. Taking a look inside the dash cam box, you have your new bracket, which is going to fit over the existing rear view mirror bracket. This is the actual FITCAMX dash cam unit. This features a 4K Ultra HD lens. And what stands out about this dash cam is how it just looks factory and OEM. This dash cam features Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz, which comes in handy for downloading your pictures or your clips to your mobile device. And you can download those clips through the FITCAMX app, which you can get on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. So this will support Apple and Android. This dash cam features loop recording, and what that is it just continuously loop records you driving. And once the SD card here gets full, then it overwrites the oldest clips. Now, FITCAMX does include a SD card there. You can see that's a 64 gigabyte, but this unit will support up to 256 gigs. It does have a built-in collision sensor. This dash cam will start recording once you turn the car on, and then it won't shut off until you lock the doors. On the bottom of the dash cam, you have a button here to take pictures or snapshots, and then you have a power button. On top of the camera, you're gonna have a couple wires. This one is gonna plug into your existing rain sensor on your vehicle. The other one is gonna be for your rear cam. Now, you don't have to get the rear camera, but I did opt in to get in the rear camera. This is going to be the rear camera unit. Now, this is gonna be a 1080p resolution, and this is gonna stick onto your back window, and then you're gonna get an extra wire, which is gonna plug into the front camera there. What's nice about this rear camera, though, is you can rotate this all the way around. So if you wanted to rotate it to have it looking into your inside of your vehicle, and that comes in handy for you Uber and Lyft drivers, just to keep an eye on your back passengers, or you can just record the back side through the back windshield. They also include 5 wire clips with sticky backs. Inside the accessory box, you're gonna have your cord, which will plug into your camera, and this will go straight to your rain sensor. This is your rear camera wire, which will plug into your front camera and then go to your rear camera. And you can see they give you plenty of length. So if you have a large SUV, this should be plenty. They give you an adapter for your SD card, which includes USB-A or USB-C, a Torx wrench with a new screw and a couple washers, and a trim removal tool, or you can use it for tucking in the wires. First, we want to remove this cover here so you can just kind of pop your mirror downward, give you a little more room. And you're just going to pull down on this, and it's going to feel like it's going to break, but it has some clips in there. So just pull you got to pull kind of hard. So just bring that downward. Same thing on this side here. And that just pops off of there like that. And then if you notice, you have these orange clips right here. That's what you're trying to pop out of there. Now with the cover off, you can bring your mirror back up, because we are going to pull this screw right here. Using the provided screwdriver, undo this Torx screw. Take your bracket. This is going to slide over the top of the existing rear view mirror. You're going to push that into place. Using the new provided screw along with a washer, you're going to stick that through the cover and tighten this up to the existing rear view mirror. Take your camera, you're going to peel off the protective lens, and then you're going to snap this onto the bracket there. Now you're going to take your rear camera wire here, you're going to plug that into the rear camera wire going to the camera. So just line up the plug on here, slide that in. Now the other wire coming off the camera, this is the one that we're going to plug into the rain sensor. Your rain sensor is going to be located right here, but as you can see on this Ford Explorer, this one does not have the rain sensor. So this camera is going to have to be hardwired in, which I'll show you here in a sec. If you guys have the rain sensor, you're going to unplug the connector for the rain sensor. You're going to use the supplied adapter that they give you. This end's going to plug into that end on your camera. And then you have 2 different plugs on here. So this plug here is going to plug into the rain sensor, and this other plug here is going to plug into the rain sensor wire that was on the rain sensor. This is going to be the hardwire kit from FITCAMX, and how this works is this is going to plug into the camera now, and this is going to be run along the top down to the fuse panel. And then from here, this plug is going to plug into one of these fuse adapters here. They give you 4 different kinds depending on what type of fuse your vehicle has. And we're going to have to locate a couple fuses that have 12 volts going to it when the key is turned on, and then 12 volts going to it when the key is turned off. So a constant 12 volts, which I'll show you here in a little bit. So now I'll plug my hardwire cable into the camera here. I'm going to line that up, plug that in. Now I'm going to take my trim tool they provide you with. I'm going to take this wire here, tuck this up here, and then I'm going to tuck it underneath the headliner all the way down to the A-pillar here, and then down along the side into the fuse box here, because that's where the fuse box is for this car. For the rear camera wire, I'm going to run this one along the passenger side. That way I don't have 2 thick wires that I'm trying to tuck behind the headliner. I'm going to tuck that all the way under that side, down the A-pillar, and then I'm going to go upward along towards the back of the car there to the back hatch. And it actually tucks in back up in the headliner here pretty nicely. Don't have to do much, just kind of bring it up along there. And then I come on the side of the pillar here. And it's pretty simple, guys. You just tuck it back down underneath here, and then you pull back this weather stripping a little bit. You can see I'm about to right there. I'm going to keep feeding this all the way down along here, and then I'll try and tuck it up underneath this panel here, and then come up to the fuse box here. So I ran the rest of that hardwire all along here, just behind this weather stripping, and then tucked it back into the panel here, and then tucked it up underneath this panel here, down along through here, and then up through the backside here of this fuse panel. This just pops off, and you can see there's my wires coming out of here. Now I need to find what fuses I'm going to tap into for the hardwire kit. So like I said before, you need 2 fuses, one that has 12 volts going to it constantly with the car off, and then another fuse that only has 12 volts going to it when the car is turned on. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a multimeter such as this. I'm going to turn it to the volts DC, maximum 20. I'm going to take my black lead here, or my negative. I'm going to connect this to a good ground source on the vehicle here. So I'm going to go off this screw on the body. I'm going to take my other lead here, my positive, and I'm going to touch one of these fuses. So if you notice, there's 2 holes on the top of each fuse. You can tap your meter on top of there, and that'll give you your voltage. So you can see this one has 12 volts going to it constantly, and that's with the car off. If I move up to this 5 amp one, you can see there's no voltage going to that fuse. So that one probably gets voltage when the car is turned on. Move up to this 10 amp, you can see same thing, constant 12 volts on that. This 30 amp up here, a constant 12 volts going to it. This 5 amp, you can see there's barely any voltage going to that one. So that one will probably get voltage once I turn the vehicle on. And this 15 amp up here, same thing. So let me turn the ignition on, and I bet you I'll get voltage going to those 2 up there. So with the ignition on, you can see now I got 12 volts going to that 5 amp, and same with that 15 amp. So I'll probably tap into this 5 amp here, and then probably this 10 amp right here. So now I'm going to unplug this 10 amp fuse here, just using a pair of pliers. Just pull that out. Now you want to match which fuse is going to fit. So I'm going to use this adapter here, because you can see that's the same style fuse. And that's the one that had the constant 12 volts going to it. So you're going to take your yellow wire here, so your B positive. I'm going to plug this 10 amp fuse into the adapter here. So you're going to plug that in, just push your fuse in there like that. Now the other one, I'm going to use this 5 amp one here. Pull out that 5 amp fuse, and I'm going to stick this into the other adapter here. So you're going to stick that in there. That's going to be for your red wire, where you want 12 volts going to it only when the car is on. And then you can take these and you're going to plug this portion into where the old fuse was. So my 5 amp one, I'm going to plug that into here. And then this 10 amp will go in where the old 10 amp was. So it's just pretty much an adapter. So I'm going to stick that one in there. Plug that in. And I'm going to wait to plug this in until we get our ground wire plugged in. And then you're going to have a ground wire that's coming off of that plug-in as well, which we need to ground. So you got your brake pedal right here. I'm going to go off of this bolt here. This is going to be a 10 millimeter. I loosen that up and I'm going to stick this back behind that bolt on the stud like that, and I'm going to tighten down this bolt, and that'll give us a good ground. Once you get that ground wire connected, you can tuck this wire back behind the carb here. That way it doesn't interfere with your brake pedal. So you can just tuck it back behind this carpet like that. Now you can plug this in. So just line up those plugs. Got that plugged in. Replace your fuse panel cover. And now the hardwire portion is done. So now I'll continue to run my rear camera wire up along the headliner, down the pillar here, up along here, back behind this panel here, down along there, and then back behind that panel all the way to the back hatch. Okay, so I got the wire all tucked behind that panel there, up underneath the headliner there, back behind this panel. And what I ended up doing was I pulled this weather stripping off, tucked the wire back behind the headliner, down into the headliner, and I came out this hole right here. So it's kind of hard to see, but the wire came out of that hole, and then I ran it into this rubber boot right here, up through the boot, comes out right here, and then I went into the back hatch here. I pulled off this panel right here, so this just snaps off of here. That's what that looks like. You can see you got the 4 orange clips kind of holding that on. So you just pop that off of there, and then you can run the wire through there. Now, if you guys don't want to do all this work, pulling this panel off, removing this boot and sticking your wire through the boot there, you can always just run the wire up to this panel right here, and then you can tuck it behind this piece of weather stripping, and then you can run your wire up to your camera. It's just when you close your hatch, you're going to have that little bit of wire just kind of hanging down. So that's why I did it this way. That way I don't have a bunch of wire hanging down when I open and close the hatch. So now let me get this panel back on, and then also these. So these they just snap out of there. So you just pop them out. You can see they have these kind of snaps on them right here. So they just pop out of there. So let me get this back together and this panel back on there, and then we'll mount the rear camera. Now we can mount the rear camera to the hatch windshield here. Now remember, this hatch is open, so it's kind of looking almost like it's upside down, but I'm going to remove the protective lens. I already did that. And if you notice, there's an arrow that says this side up, so you want to make sure you mount it to the windshield correctly. That way it displays correctly and it's not upside down. So I'm thinking I'm going to go a couple lines down on the defroster, so about right there I'm thinking. That way I'm not picking up the third brake light either. So make sure your window's obviously clean, of course. Pull off this 3M tape that's on here and try to get that centered exactly how you want it. Like I said, I'm going to go about right there. And you're just going to stick this to the windshield. About like that. And if you want to, you can adjust this however you want to. I'm going to leave it we'll try about right there where it's at. I think it might pick up pretty good on there. And then you can plug in the cord here. So just plug that in. And I think what I'll do is I'll tuck this excess back behind this panel here. And keep in mind, if you guys didn't tuck the wire back behind the panel like I did, you just have it running down. You can always use these wire clips they provide you with. It has a sticky back. You can stick that on here and then tuck your wire through these if you need be. And then once your cameras are all mounted, wires are all ran, we can put this cover back on. If you notice on the cover there is a little opening here for your wires. So just make sure you tuck those in there. And then try to get this snap back on into place like that. Bring your rear view mirror back up. And now I'm just going to turn the ignition on. I want to make sure the lights come on so we know we got power going to the camera. So turn my ignition on. You can see right there, those 3 lights are lighting up. Now you want to download the FITCAMX app from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. Once you get the app downloaded, you're going to add the camera and you're going to turn on the ignition. So you got power going to the camera. And now you're going to add this through your Wi-Fi. You're going to find the dash cam and the Wi-Fi. You're going to click on that. And according to their instructions, it says the password is going to be 12345678. Then you're going to go back to the FITCAMX app. We're going to click Add Camera. And you can see the camera is now loading, and there is a live view of my camera inside my garage right now. So this is going to be the front camera right here, and you can see this is going to be the back camera right there. And on this video, you can see it shows your date, your time. Also, you can see it's recording right there. Taking a look inside the app here. So right now it's live recording, so you can pause that if you want to, or you can play it. This camera button here is if you want to take a snapshot of what's going on. So it just takes a picture of both cameras there, and it stores it as a snapshot in your memory there. The camera settings, you can set this up the way you want to. So you got sound recording, you can turn that on or off. Video resolution, depending on how clear you want your videos to be. You got your loop recording. So right now it's set at 1 minute, but you can change that. You can see to 3 or 1 minute. So what the loop recording is it records in 1 minute loops, and then it just keeps resetting. And then once the memory gets full, it starts to overwrite the oldest clips. So you can change that to 1 minute or 3 minute, depending on how you want to. Exposure compensation, timestamp if you want it to show the time. The driving collision sensing, so you can set the sensitivity of that. Also the parking mode collision detection, so you can change that sensitivity. And then you got your camera files down here. You're going to click on that, and this is going to be all your stored or saved videos. So you can see I got a bunch of the front camera, the back camera, front camera, and back camera. So it just keeps overriding in 1 minute clips. So if I click on one of these, you can see there's what it looks like inside my garage, the front camera. And then you can download this video, and this will automatically save it to your phone, and then you can share it however you want to via message or whatever it may be. You got screenshot, and then you can also delete the video if you want to as well. If I click on the back button here, let's just click on snapshot. So these are the snapshots that I took using the app, but there's also a button on the camera you can use. So if you want to take a photo real quick, so this button on the right is going to be a camera. You just push that and it'll take a snapshot. This button on the left is going to be a power button. And then you got locked videos and then some parking videos if you got the parking feature. Here's a clip of the front camera in the daytime. You can see that 4K resolution looks really good. Now keep in mind, this front windshield does have tint on it. It's a 35% tint, so it's only allowing 35% of the light through, but it still looks really good. You can see the car in front here. You can make out the license plate and also the street sign up there. Here's another clip of the front camera just out of the sunlight. As I approach this white truck in front of me, you can clearly make out the license plate number. And if you look to the right, you can also make out the license plate number of that white SUV. This is a clip of the rear camera during the daytime. Again, this is the 1080p resolution, and it still looks really good. Now keep in mind, this rear windshield is tinted as well, has about 17% tint, so it's only allowing 17% of the light through, but the overall picture quality still looks really good. You can make out street signs, other vehicles, and definitely some license plates if it was directly behind you. Here's a clip of the front camera during the nighttime. If you look at the black truck next to me, you can pretty much make out the license plate there. As we approach this intersection, it's a little more difficult to make out the street sign there, but overall the picture quality is still really good. You can see the cross traffic going through here. And again, keep in mind, I have tint on this front windshield, so it's not going to be as bright as it should be. And here's a clip of the rear camera during the nighttime as this car approaches me from behind. Again, if you take a look at the license plate there, you can pretty much make out the license plate number. As I start to take off here, you can see all the businesses, street signs, that kind of stuff. Still really good overall video quality, even with the window tint. This is a clip of me just talking so you can hear how the sound quality is with the built-in microphone inside the dash cam. So my final thoughts on the FITCAMX dash cam. Do I recommend this product? Absolutely. You can't beat the 4K resolution, the factory OEM look, the easy install, and I like how it comes with a rear camera. And nowadays, if you're not running a dash cam, you're not protecting yourself or your vehicle. The one thing I wish it did have was GPS. That way I could see how fast I'm going on the video, showing the miles per hour. But all in all, I definitely think this dash cam is worth it. Check out my description there. I'll have links in there for this and also for the hardwire kit. And I hope this review and install video helps you out. If it does, hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.